Happy Monday. Good morning. It's Monday. I'm waiting for all you guys to join. Good morning to Instagram. Good morning to Facebook. Nice to have you all here. It is Monday. Oh, you know how much I love Mondays. I think every Monday I start my live by saying, oh, it's Monday. So hopefully we're okay over there on Facebook. I'm seeing some jumping of connection. If you guys are over there on Facebook, please let me know, because I'm seeing some connection issues. Okay, good. We got a good morning. Good morning, Linda. Just wanted to check. Instagram seems to be okay. Same connection. Why one works and one doesn't, I don't know, but it's kind of jumping around a little bit. So, Linda, are you getting me okay over there? Or are you getting jumpy stuff too? Oh, we'll see. So anyway, it is Monday. This is Dr. Pingel, and I'm here with your morning checkup here on Instagram and Facebook, and just waiting for a few more to join so that we can jump in on our topic today. Hello, everyone. Hopefully the connection holds up. Like I said, Facebook's looking a little jumpy over there, so I'll do you a favor, Facebook, if for some reason we get cut in and out, I will repost this, so and I'll use the Instagram version if needed, so no worries over there, okay? Good morning, those on Instagram. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, everyone. I hope you all had a great weekend. We're going to be talking about something that I'm very passionate about today, and something that I think is very consistent with the times right now. And we're going to be talking about how to train your mind to lower stress and reduce anxiety and worry and the negative impacts of that on your brain, okay? Because I don't know, guys, this weekend was a little rough. I saw, I have to get on, I don't have to, I choose to get on social media because I like to talk to you guys. I like to respond to your comments. I like to go in and see what was resonating with you and respond and meet all of you. And so I end up on social media, and unfortunately, many of my feed this weekend was filled with a ton of negativity and a ton of blame and a ton of this or that. And it was so disappointing to me. I just thought, we're all trying to navigate through these waters right now. All of us in different situations, all of us with different beliefs, all of us with different, thoughts on the situation. But the bottom line is, regardless what we all feel about it or what our opinions are, we're all in it, okay? And so to see people attacking other people and calling people names, and, it was very disappointing. I was sad. I thought we were rising above that. And then I started to think about that as a health problem, and that's kind of what prompted my topic today. The problem of us, quick knee-jerking reaction and putting other people down and spreading negative energy, and how that impacts our health over long periods of time. It's just not healthy for us, guys. We have to protect our brain. We have to protect our body. The mind and the body are connected. And so that's really kind of what we're talking about today, is how that connection is, and what you can do. Some things you can do at home. They don't cost you anything. They just take your time. And a lot of us have a lot of time right now. So seemed like a timely topic for a Monday. So good morning to all of you saying hello on Facebook. Thank you. I'm glad you're all there. Hopefully this video, it's shaking on my end, the video screen, but maybe it's just me. And thank you to all of you joining over here on Instagram. Good morning. I am Dr. Trisha Pingel. This is your morning checkup, and our topic today is anxiety, the brain, and ways that you can lower that impact on your overall health. Okay, so obviously there's a ton going on right now. There's a ton of anxiety out there as well. There's a lot of people worried. Now, all of us may be worrying about different things. In fact, we all are. I think we all have a difference in how we're going through this. We all have our own process, and so we're all under a lot of stress. I know I am, and I'm someone that tends to try to really work a lot on lowering that impact to me, but it still happens, okay? But we all have the power to lower that stress. It's real easy sometimes to just be the one that says, woe is me, everything's crappy, I'm never gonna get out of it. It's real easy. It's real easy to be negative. That's probably the easiest way to go. And I know as a mom, when I try to, my kids go through that situation, I'm sitting there encouraging them, trying to teach them how to learn from failures and grow from mistakes and issues and worries, and grow from that and become a better person. And we spend so much time teaching our kids that, but then I think as adults, often we don't sit down and remind ourselves that we're supposed to do that too, that we're supposed to learn from failure. You know, we're supposed to learn from down times. We're supposed to figure it out from here. We're not supposed to dwell in it for very long. Everyone has bad days. Everyone needs to dwell every so often. And I'm guilty of that. There's some days I wake up and I'm just like, oh, this is ridiculous. Like, what am I doing? Like, why do I bother? And then I get back up. I get up. And I go back to it, and then I remind myself why I do what I do. Today I am here because I love what I do. I love talking to you guys. I love educating you. And I will always have that person that wants to bring it down, or that person that wants to make it negative, or tell me that what I'm doing isn't valuable. And you know, the only person who can make that impact me is me. That's it. Someone can insult you all day long. The only person that can make it impact you is you, right? You have to put up those boundaries. You have to learn how to protect yourself. So that's why I'm here. And I hope that's why all of you are here, is to learn how to grow from this dreadful situation we're in. Okay? So there is a relationship between anxiety and the brain. And we talked a little bit about this when I did a live on brain fog, okay, about how stress and epinephrine, I'm smiling, it's all good, epinephrine and cortisol impact the brain, and the actual impact on your brain. Now, many of you may have missed that, so I just want to run through it real quick. But when you're in a fight or flight response, so when you are under stress and you release cortisol, epinephrine, norepinephrine, this sends a message to a part of your brain called the amygdala, okay? And the amygdala is in our midbrain, and it's responsible for our emotional reaction, okay? So that will give us fear, happiness, worry, disgust, you know, whatever that emotion is comes from the amygdala. Well, anytime we signal the amygdala, this impacts the way that your front brain processes learning and memory. Okay, so what you'll see is that you'll lose reason, right, over time if you're always under a lot of stress. Have you ever noticed that? Like you have a really stressful event and then you just realize you're making really stupid choices? You know, and I wonder about this. Side note. So many of you know my mom died almost 4 years ago now, of cancer. And I was ridiculously close to her. She was my best friend. And at times like this are very hard. And back then, when I was going through that stress of watching her through chemo and watching her pass, I noticed I was dropping things all the time, and running into walls. Like, it's kind of funny, but I would get up and I would run into, like, I'd go walk into a room and like run into a wall, or like drop my coffee cup or something, you know? Which is crazy. But there was a lot of stress impact. It was impacting the way that I was processing information. It was, my brain wasn't as sharp as it should have been. Well, since then, I've worked very hard on a lot of healing and processing stress, and doing the things that I'm trying to teach you guys as well, from my own personal experience. And I guess I just reflected on this the other day because I was making dinner and I went to the refrigerator and I dropped something. And I was like, darn it. You know, like, how did I drop that? And I didn't think much of it. And then I turned around to make something else and I dropped something else. Shattered a glass all over the kitchen floor. And of course, my husband's kind of giggling at me because I'm overreacting, right? Because I'm like, it was not just, oh gosh. I mean, I was pissed, right? I was mad because I broke a glass. And it's funny because in that moment, I took a second and I looked back and I said, wait a second, when was the last time I ran into something or dropped something? It had been well over 2 years. Okay, and that's when I realized even more so how much the situation we're in right now, how much isolation and not being able to do my own normal thing and my normal outlet is affecting my brain and my stress response, regardless of the fact that I'm relaxing more right now, right? Because, I mean, Arizona, it's beautiful. I try to take some afternoons out with my kids. I get to spend more time with my kids right now, which I'm so incredibly grateful for. But it's funny, I'm dropping things, right? My brain is not as sharp as it should be. And I'm giving myself an example of what I'm talking to you guys about, right? I have someone saying they have low adrenal hormones. So did I, almost non-existent. So I hear you. And it's been a long process for me, and I'm here, and it's good, and I'll continue to grow. And I'm just going to continue to keep working on this stress response. That's all you can do. It's all you can do. You have control over that, okay? So, as we've talked about before, when you start having that long-term chronic stress, it impacts the way that your brain responds to other stress. So, think about this. If you're in the woods and you encounter a bear, right, you get this fight or flight response and you run from the bear, and ideally the bear goes away, okay? And our brain can deal with that. It can handle a temporary loss of thought or loss of reason to get you away from a threat. But the problem is when we continue to have this stress after stress after stress after stress, our brain never has that recovery period, okay? And that's why we start to see a lot more brain fog, we start to see a lot more anxiety, we start to see a lot more worry, we start to have knee-jerk reactions to something as simple as a stupid Facebook post that you know has no merit to anything, and you read it and your brain goes, and gets mad, right? Why? Right? Because you're under so much stress that your brain's not reasoning. It can't just say, let it go, right? How many of you are having a harder time letting things go right now when it comes to emotional reaction? I am. Why the heck did I scream when I dropped a glass? That's not me. I don't do that. Like, it's a glass, okay? Like, I could buy another one. It's not a big deal. My kids drop glasses all the time, and I'm like, oh, don't worry about it, honey. Like, whatever, you know? But when I drop a glass, I beat myself up over it. Why? Right? Because we're all under stress right now. I'm under stress too. So, studies have shown that chronic stress increases emotional responses such as fear and anxiety through these effects on the amygdala, okay? And these effects lead to overactive fear and overactive anxiety that will ultimately decrease the prefrontal cortex and the hippocampus, okay? In fact, they actually have shown in a study that if you are constantly exposed to epinephrine and cortisol, your hippocampus in your brain, which is what controls our amygdala response, will actually physically shrink. Did you hear that, Facebook? I was looking at Instagram. Physically shrink. It will physically shrink. If it shrinks, that's less cells there to send out signals, okay? And this may be part of the reason why anxiety just continues to fester. You know, not many people have like a stage 1 anxiety and it stays there. Typically it's there and then it moves up and then it moves up and then it moves up and then it moves up, right? And it gets worse and worse and worse over time, right? That makes sense. It makes sense if you look at the physiology of how that impacts your brain, okay? So I want to talk to you today, not about this whole process, because I know you guys can go back. If you really want to hear more about these studies, by the way, on the brain shrinking and the impact of cortisol and norepinephrine, I did a live on brain fog, I think it was 2 weeks ago, where I went more into those studies and talked about the impact of stress on the brain. And I think it was a lot of really interesting research and something to really kind of ponder over about ways that we can benefit our body and brain by recognizing it. And before I go into how you do this, I want to acknowledge something. This is not easy, okay? It's not easy to reframe your brain. It's not easy. It's a process of grief. It's a process of acceptance. It's a process of failure. It's a process of acknowledging that we don't have the answers to everything and we don't always know what to do, and we are going to overreact to things, and we are going to bring ourselves and other people down at times. And the only way that we can come out of this is by picking ourselves back up. Many of you may have seen the video. I did it a while back on where I talked about Batman. There's a quote from Batman where he says, something to the effect of, why do we fall? And the answer is to get back up, or to learn how to get back up. We fall down and we have to get back up. And sometimes when we get back up, we get knocked right back down again. And so we have to figure out how to get up in a different way. Or what did we do wrong that time that we need to figure out what to learn from? We are a constant evolving beings. Not only do our bodies evolve, which we are seeing a lot right now in our present situation, why some people are not having symptoms to a virus and other people are. We're seeing that some bodies are stronger than other bodies for this particular virus. Now pick a different virus and the people that are susceptible to corona won't be susceptible to another one. I mean, H1N1 didn't infect the same group of people as coronavirus does. We all grow and we evolve and we change and our bodies adapt with us. And if we don't pay attention to that, we end up with worsening health, okay? Not only does stress impact anxiety, it impacts your immune system, it impacts your cardiovascular system, it impacts your thyroid, it impacts your mood, it impacts your gut health, that ultimately impacts your nutrition. It impacts everything. So what do we do, right? I have people over here just talking about, asking questions about how to heal, and is this related to dementia? Yes. Stress and cortisol response highly linked to dementia as well as inflammation. So watch the brain fog. I think you were in the brain fog on that one, Bill. I think you might have been in that one, but watch it again because there's a lot of stuff on that. So we need to talk about how to get out of this situation, right? So let's talk about it. Good. Thank you to all of you, by the way. You're all sending me wonderful comments, and I know I'm a little emotional today because it's one of those days, grief and stress often take a lot of energy, but once again, you got to just get back up, right? So let's talk about how to do that. All right, we're fighters today. Anyone watching my mug? Fighter. Okay. First step, reframing the situation. Sounds so easy, is so not easy, but this is how you do it, and you really have to work hard to do it, okay? You need to take a look at the situation and decide, is this worry over this situation worth sacrificing my personal health for? So are you willing to sacrifice your future health over this one thing? Okay, first question to ask. Sometimes that's a hard question to answer because there's so much stimulation, especially in the era of social media and everyone's opinion and whatnot, right? That you take all that in and you don't necessarily really sit down and say, do I need to worry about this, right? But that's a very important thing to do. It's easy to let your mind wander, okay, and think about the negative impact of a situation. Doesn't matter what that situation is. It could be anything really. It could be something that's seemingly small, something that's big. It could be anything. But it's really easy to worry about it and just think about, oh, what's going to happen? Oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And sometimes it's just not worth sacrificing your health for. Okay? So the next time you encounter a stressful or worrisome situation, I want you to take a moment and I want you to take a deep breath and I want you to ask yourself, is this worry worth it for the potential impact it may have on my brain or my health? Okay, that's number one. Once you decide that it's not worth it, okay, you have to reframe the situation. Now, how do you do that? You have to look at the positive potential outcome versus the negative outcome. Now, like I said, our brains will immediately go negative, and that's easy to do. It's not always easy to look at the positive, but for example, if you failed at something, it's real easy to focus on the failure, or you can do what most successful people do and look at the failure as an opportunity for growth. What you learned from that moment and how you can grow from that moment is a positive. I have some people saying they're losing me on Facebook. Sorry about that, Facebook. I'll post the Instagram version up later today, okay? Or in a little bit. Anyway, making something positive out of it. I should have laughed when I dropped the glass. When I look back at it and I go, that should have been a moment for me to say, hey, Trisha, your brain's a little distracted right now. What's going on? Let's check in. Let's figure out what we need to work through so that we can get past this moment. That was the positive outcome of that, and that's what I turned it into. I yelled, I got mad, I dropped the glass. I embarrassed myself in front of my family. I was screaming over dropping a stupid little glass. And then when I sat down, I went, you know what? Obviously, there's something going on in my body that's causing me to be on a heightened level. So let's reevaluate, let's focus, and let's figure out what we're going to do about it. And that is what you need to do. It's not always so easy. But for example, we're in isolation right now, right? And it's very stressful. But I don't think I've ever had such an opportunity to really be able to engage with my children at a different level. And I'm trying to use this opportunity to make it a valuable experience for them and for me, and get some things done that maybe I wouldn't normally do, or look at this situation as a way to remove negativity from my life and focus on the people that love me. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you can twist information, and I think this is a really good time to practice doing that. Maybe you were looking for an opportunity, or maybe you lost your job, and it's real easy to say, God, man, why is this always happening to me? But maybe there's something else right around the corner for you. Maybe this is opening up a door that you need to be alert for and you need to be paying attention to. There is always another opportunity. There is always an opportunity to grow in every single situation you are faced with. The key is you have to look for it. You have to tell yourself about it. You have to remind yourself. If you have to put sticky notes all over your mirror in the morning that say one positive thing, I want you to do it. I want you to do whatever it is that makes you recognize the value that you are and that you give to society. There's no point in being a negative value to other people. We need to lift people up right now. We need to lift ourselves up, and we need to lift everyone else up. So find a way to do that, right? Don't stay down for long, okay? That's how you do it. Now, if you're struggling with this, which I do often, writing things down that you're grateful for makes a huge impact. And you have to make this a routine. So let's say every night before bed, it's easy to sit down and say, oh man, this happened today. It was a really crappy day, blah, blah, blah. So turn it around. Say, well, I missed something, but it gave me an opportunity to talk to my kids longer. Or, I could beat myself up. Well, I started my live a little late today. I wasn't as prepared as I wanted, but I had an opportunity to sit with my husband and my family and get support. I talked to a very dear friend before this live just to reground myself and remind me that, in times that when you don't feel your greatest, you will rise above it. You will pull the people together that need to help you rise, and you will rise, and it will be okay. So sometimes you have to lean on other people. You have to lean on yourself, write yourself notes, whatever you have to do to remind yourself why what you do and what you're going through is going to be a benefit to you, okay? I do have an article on this too. I think I spelled it out a little bit more for people so it can help you learn that skill, okay? Now, what's the health benefit of that? If you're reframing the situation, it means your amygdala is not as overstimulated as it was before because you're not having that fear and anxiety over that moment, okay? So that actually heals the brain cells in your brain. It keeps your body and your brain from deteriorating, okay? So very, very, very important, okay? And very difficult to do, okay? Now, number 2, live in the moment. Kind of goes hand in hand with reframing in that you have to reframe and realize you are where you are in this moment. And the only decision you can make is based off the information that you have right now. We don't know what information is coming to us later. We can't really focus on the past information. We have to take the information that we have and we have to make an assessment. And we have to make the best decision that we can for our own health based on that information. And if the next day it turns out you're wrong, well, crap, you were wrong, Now what? Okay, now we reevaluate. Now we look at this again and we move forward and we figure out how to make it a beneficial situation and live in the moment and not beat yourself up. And someone just said, if you can create the current result in your life, then it is possible to create any other outcome. 100% agree. You are the only person who can allow other people's negativity impact you. I can walk into a room with a ton of negative energies and trust me, I feel it. And it eats me to the core. But it's not their fault. I can't blame them. They're choosing to be in that moment. They're choosing to be in a negative moment. I am not, so I leave. Simple as that, right? Live in your own moment. Don't worry about other people's moments. There will always be negative people out there. You have absolutely no control over how they process information. The only person that you can control is you, right? So live in the moment. Make the best decision you can. Look at both sides of every argument, make a decision, and be okay with that. That is how we heal. That is how we grow. Now, there are some physical things you can do to help with this that help calm your mind and body so that you can live in the moment. And a lot of this has to do with breath. This is something that is free. You guys want some things you can do that don't cost you a dime? Learn how to breathe. Right now, I want all of you to just sit for a second and really take assessment on if you're truly breathing right now. I'm not. I wasn't. I was just talking. I wasn't breathing. A lot of times we don't breathe. We lock up our rib cages and we don't breathe. And then we wonder why we have back pain or why we have shoulder pain or why we have neck pain or why we're stressing out, right? Right? So we need to breathe. There are different techniques for doing that. And I have a link to this on my website. So I'm going to tell you about it, but so that you have it written down so you can go back and reference it. It's under top 4 breathing exercises to relieve stress at drpingel.com. And I can definitely post a link to that after this. So there's a couple different techniques. One of the techniques is alternate nostril breathing. Maybe some of you have heard of that, where you basically sit comfortable and you take your left hand and you just place it on your knee, just in your lap there. And then you breathe in through one nostril. And then you breathe out through the other. I think the proper technique is having one going like this, okay? But breathing in, holding, releasing, that's one cycle. Doing something like that has a ton of health benefits, not only on the brain, guys, but also on your immune system. Our noses are incredibly proficient at getting rid of inhaled toxins and viruses and things like that. So breathing is very important. We need to breathe. There's also something called 4-7-8 breathing technique, which was developed by Dr. Andrew Weil. And it's a yoga type breathing technique. And like I said, I do have this on my website. So just you sit up, you put the tip of the tongue of your mouth behind your teeth, and you keep it there the entire time. Okay, which obviously I can't do when I'm talking, but just trust me, that's where it goes. And then you exhale completely through your mouth, making a whoosh sound. So some sort of sound, whatever sound comes out. Close your mouth, breathe in through your nose for a count of 4, okay? Hold your breath for a count of 7, and then exhale for an entire count of 8. So you're breathing in for 4, holding for 7, exhaling for 8, okay? Exhale completely through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. That's one whole breath. You do that at least 3 times for a total of 4 breaths, okay? So we want to calm the body down. Okay. A lot of people are asking about other breathing techniques. There are so many. I mean, it's great. This information is all out there. It's easy to find. There's diaphragmatic breathing where you're focusing more on the diaphragm. Now, any of you that sing or do music may have learned a lot of that. I was in theater in high school and college. I loved that type of thing, and learning how to project my voice and stuff all came from the diaphragm, learning how to breathe appropriately. When we're under stress, we don't breathe appropriately, right? Because we're running from a bear, right? We're not taking the time to breathe and think about how nutritive oxygen is to our body. We're just too busy getting away from the bear. So breathing is something that all of you today can implement. You can start right now, right? Breathe nicely with your alternate nostril while we watch the rest of this. But all of you can start this right now. There is no limitation. You all know how to breathe. No matter what your health history is, you all know how to breathe. So breathe, right? Just breathe, okay? We're all going to be all right. Breathe. Okay? So that's part of also living in the moment. That's the start of meditation. Okay? The first step of meditation is learning how to breathe and then focusing on the breath. Just in that moment, that 3 minutes, just focus on what you're doing. Okay? Now, And there's some studies on this too. Studies have shown that people who meditate on a regular basis, and once again, that can just be breathing and focusing on the breath, okay? It doesn't have to be this high level meditation. It just has to be focus, okay? On a regular basis are able to control their mind wandering better than those who don't. They've also found that people who experience mind wandering tend to be unhappier and more prone to worry, okay? So learning how to stay in the moment can actually make you happier, less stressed, and improve your brain. And I think we get so caught up in everything we have to do, and then we find that we're not that productive. Sometimes all you need to do is just stop, just for 3 minutes. Give yourself a little bit of a break. Remind yourself the value, your own value, your value to others, the people around you that are valuable. Give gratitude for them. Take a few deep breaths and go back into it. It's okay to not always be okay. The key is, how do you come out of it? Okay, we all have to make a choice right now how we want to come out of this. So on my third and last tip, is to schedule time for you. Just you. Whatever you need. Okay? If you're able to reduce that stress and focus on you, it will have less further detriment. You get out of that hamster wheel. Okay, so what do you do? I love to dance. That's focusing on me, taking care of myself through exercise or through when we are out and about. I love going out and having a nice meal with my friends and socializing and sharing energy with people. And that's why I think isolation for me is so challenging. And it's obviously a challenge that I'm meant to overcome. There's a reason it's being thrown my way, and I'm just going to have to figure out how to get above it, and I will. And that's just, I have to trust in this process. But regardless of what we can or can't do right now, we have to do something to keep ourselves well and to relax. So do something like that. In fact, someone was asking earlier about dementia and how this impacts dementia. There was a study that showed that chronic stress and anxiety would damage your brain, making you more vulnerable to neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's and dementia, okay? And it's been shown, additional research shows that regularly engaging in relaxing activities will actually rewire your brain to calm down the next time that you're in response to stress. This is training. Just like an athlete would train for an event. You have to train your brain. Our brains are trained to be stimulated all the time right now, and you see it in kids. I see it in my kids. Man, I'm fast. Okay, I can do a lot of things at one time, but they take it to a whole nother level. All right, so right? So their brains are trained. Bing, 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 bing. We have to train them to not do that as much. We have to train their brain. We have to teach them how to do that. We have to do that for ourselves. We have to train ourselves how to calm down. We're in a time where everything is just stimulated constantly, right? And I saw that this weekend, and it was a shame. It was just sad. I watched people attack other people, and it was just dumb. What a waste of energy. What a waste of valuable people and energy. I don't get it. I just don't. But then again, I let it get to me. That was my mistake, and I will learn from that. So, you have the power. Okay? You have the power to control how you react to every single situation. And if you get nothing out of this except for understanding how valuable you are and how much control you have over your own reactions, that's fine. I just want you to realize that you're valuable. You are an important part of society, and you have the power to improve not only your health, but everybody else that you come into contact with by allowing that beautiful energy to come forward, by allowing your strengths to come forward, and by learning from your mistakes as opposed to dwelling on them. Everybody has the power to lift everybody else up, and that's freaking amazing. So let's do that. Deal? There are so many comments coming in. I'm humbled. Thank you. So many of you are saying such kind things. It warms my heart. Thank you so much. I have some awesome topics. Hopefully tomorrow I'll come back with my usual spunk. I will. And I have some fun stuff to talk about. And I have a newsletter. I don't know if you guys know that, but I send out a newsletter every week with tips like this, like just articles about ways that you can improve your health while you're home. So you can sign up for that at drpingel.com if you haven't already, drpingel.com. You can sign up for the newsletter. I think you can also directly sign up for it from Facebook, but don't quote me. If you want something coming into your email box that hopefully will lift you up and give you some positivity each week and give you some health information and some healthy recipes and things that you can do. I appreciate your support, and I'm here to help you through this time. And all of you are nothing but kind and sweet, and you help me through times like this too. And that's what this is all about. So thank you to all of you, and I will go through and respond to all of you as I can. And once again, Facebook, if we lost connection at all, I promise I will get this back up so you can rewatch it. I apologize for that. I guess the internet just isn't feeling well today either. So I will come tomorrow with something different. I'm not sure what yet. Let's see what comes out of my brain in the morning. But all of you have a fantastic Monday. Have a great week. Be well and live in the moment.